Hey guys, welcome back to YPW, the home of all things professional wrestling. Make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're already subscribed to the channel, make sure you turn on notifications as we are releasing new videos. From his upbringing to his rise to fame and beyond, allow me to show you the story of Roman Reigns. In the WWE today, there are many stars who rise above the others in order to claim that this is their yard. But in the last decade or so, few have done better than the man known as Roman Reigns. Known as the Big Dog, among other monikers, Roman Reigns is consistently one of the biggest sellers in the WWE. His personality, his moveset, his theme music, and more are enough to get people off of their feet most times. And in terms of merchandise, he does consistently well, much to the joy of his bosses, the Mcmahons. But where does his story really start? Well, Roman Reigns was born Liati Joseph Anoa'i on May 25, 1985 in Pensacola, Florida, to Sika and Patricia A. Anoa'i. His father, Liati Sika Anoa'i, was a former American Samoan professional wrestler. You see, if you look at the history of wrestling as a whole, you're going to see a lot of wrestlers with Samoan lineage. It started with High Chief Peter Maivia, then went to the Wild Samoans, The Rock, and many more along the way. The Anoa'i family has produced many superstars, and Roman, Joe, was one of the most recent, but his rise to the ranks of the WWE didn't start off in the way you might think. Because unlike certain other members of his family, including his brother, who went by the name Rousey in his time with WWE, Roman decided he wanted to do football, and he was actually quite good at it in his own right. After playing college football for Georgia Tech, Anoa'i started his professional football career with brief off-season stints with the Minnesota Vikings and Jacksonville Jaguars of the National Football League in 2007. He then played a full season for the Canadian Football League's CFL, Edmonton Eskimos in 2008, before his release and retirement from football. This actually isn't too far from the path that his cousin, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, partook as he played football at the legendary University of Miami in its heyday. Anyway, once his football dreams were done, Roman decided it was time to follow the family legacy, and so he went and started to be a wrestler, eventually joining the WWE in 2020. From 2010 to 2012, Roman wasn't known as Reigns, but Liaki, and he partook in the developmental brand of WWE known then as FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling. It's a misconception that many wrestlers just go straight to WWE. If they have a lot of experience, which they do, but oftentimes they have to get their bodies and minds adjusted to the WWE style of wrestling and performance, so they send them down to places like FCW in order to get them ready for life in the big-time guest shows like Raw and SmackDown. As Roman Liaki, he spent years battling against one of the biggest soon-to-be stars in WWE, and though he didn't technically get a lot of success there in terms of titles, he did make his name, which led to big things once FCW became NXT, the true developmental brand for WWE, which grew so big and powerful that it's now the definitive third brand of WWE, much to the joy of fans. And it was in NXT that Roman got his true name, Roman Reigns. He played a villain character, also known as heel, and he spent a few months in WWE proving why he was a top dog, until November 18, 2012, at the Survivor Series pay-per-view event, which is one of the biggest events that WWE does in their year of shows. Roman Reigns debuted on the main roster alongside big prospects Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. These three guys weren't in a match though. They came to cause havoc dressed in black tactical gear. They assaulted the wrestler known as Ryback and allowed then-champion CM Punk to retain his WWE Championship. At the time, no one knew what was going on, fan-wise we mean, but they were more than happy to reveal themselves as the Shield, or as Roman liked to call them, the Hounds of Justice. This heel faction spent the next 2 years dominating the WWE as one of the biggest factions in recent memory. They would come out of nowhere, do the dirty work for some of the biggest heels in the business, and then when they did go do actual matches, they would just destroy everyone. Including their first big match at the Table, Ladders, and Chairs pay-per-view, where they destroyed three big names, Kane, Daniel Bryan, and Ryback. They had big intense matches, they defeated legends, they got the tag team and United States championships. Roman was a tag team champion with Seth, and they showed the world that this was their yard. They had many battles during their initial heel run, and that made it all the more shocking when they suddenly turned babyface. all without doing much to change what they did in the ring. This was one of the few times that a heel-to-face changed work for the better. The crowd loved the Shield as babyfaces, and their merch sold through the roof. Their new turn against the authority of Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and others led to them getting into a war with other legendary faction in Evolution, led by Triple H. But despite Evolution's best efforts, the Shield was too strong for them, and after some epic six-man tag matches, Roman, Rollins, and Ambrose seemed unstoppable. But as is WWE's nature, they knew not to milk a thing too long. And yeah, a couple years is a long time, but they could have milked this forever, a sign of things to come, and so they decided to have Seth Rollins turn traitor, break up the Shield, and catapult all three men into single competition status. And this would have and should have been the thing that Roman and others wanted the most. The problem was that the WWE had a specific idea of what should happen, and it didn't jive with what fans felt should happen. You see, after the implosion of the Shield, Seth Rollins went on to be the Money in the Bank winner and become one of the biggest heels in recent history. Dean Ambrose went on a one-man mission to destroy Seth for betraying the Shield. As for Roman, Vince McMahon decided that he would be his pick to be the next major star in WWE. This should have been a great honor, but the problem was that it was clear that WWE was trying to force Roman down everyone's throats in terms of him being the next hero. It started out fine. He had feuds with people like Randy Orton and The Big Show, as well as Bray Wyatt, but as time went on, the fans realized that Roman wasn't going away, and that other superstars, other legitimately better in-ring performers like Daniel Bryan were being overlooked or even buried in order to give Roman the time and room to grow into the hero that WWE wanted him to be. But the fans weren't having it. A perfect example of this was when he won the Royal Rumble. Not only did they boo him royally for winning it, the WWE tried to put him over by bringing out The Rock in order to get him into the crowd's good graces. It didn't work. Further adding fuel to the fire, after he did win the title, he lost it 5 minutes later to another wrestler in Sheamus, and then won it back from him a little while later, only to lose it in a rigged Royal Rumble match. Trust me, it was actually really rigged to make Roman look sympathetic in his loss, and then get it back from Triple H at the next WrestleMania. Adding insult to injury, despite the crowd still not loving him, Roman was given the United States title and Intercontinental Championship, making him a true Grand Slam champion with the company, and basically doing nothing with him because of his star power, which the fans didn't like one bit. And then, what might be the lowest point in the minds of WWE fans in terms of his in-ring career, he was put up against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Up until that point, The Undertaker lost only one match in a highly controversial fashion to Brock Lesnar. But this was set up as two big dogs scrapping to find out whose yard it was. And much to the jargon of the fans, Roman won yet again. If you want to know just how bad it was, the day after WrestleMania, the crowd welcomed Roman Reigns by literally chanting, "F*** Roman." And the crowd was so loud that Roman just let them talk until they quieted down just enough for him to say, "This is my yard." What followed next was another slog of big matches, big title wins, and more, and the fans still did not like Roman Reigns. But then, in October 2018, Roman Reigns came to the ring and announced that he once again had leukemia. He had previously battled it before, but it had returned, and because of the dangers of this deadly cancer, he would have to go out on a hiatus, which he did. He promised to fight hard for the fans and hoped to come back. Thankfully for Roman and everyone else, he was able to return to action just a few months later. On February 25th, he returned and revealed to the world that his cancer was in remission and that he could compete again, and the crowd loved it. They were happy that Roman was back, and things only got better when the Shield reunited a little while later to help bring even more pop to Roman's return. What was to follow was arguably the biggest fan-supported stretch of Roman's career in the WWE since the first breakup of the Shield. His matches weren't consistently booed for the first time. He was getting big cheers when he did his signature moves, or when he came to the ring to either talk or help someone out. And WWE didn't push things for once by allowing him to just be Roman again, and not be the guy who kept getting all the titles. In fact, since his time back from leukemia, Reigns has not held a single championship, though rumors are stating that he will likely get one at this upcoming WrestleMania. Though there is still some hesitation when it comes to Roman Reigns in regards to the fans and their expectation of him and what WWE will do with him, it's a much better standing than where it was before his condition. Roman even got an ESPY Award, the ESPN award show, for Best WWE Moment in regards to his returning from cancer. Since his rise to fame, Roman has been doing other things to help build up his brand, including having a cameo role with The Rock in Hobbs & Shaw, and he's pushing for more acting roles too. But his love is truly wrestling, and though he is 34, turning 35 in May, the way he handles himself in the ring and outside of it ensures that barring injury, of which he's only had a few, he'll have a long career. Whether he'll ever truly be the top guy like WWE wants him to be is uncertain, but at the moment, he's in a good place with himself. He's in a good place with himself and the fans, and that should be enough for now. So what do you think? What do you think of this breakdown of the story of Roman Reigns? Are you surprised by all the twists and turns that Roman has had over his career? Do you think that he'll maintain his upward trajectory from here? Let me know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe. And thank you for watching YPW, the channel dedicated to all things wrestling. If you like this video, make sure you check out some of our other videos, and to be notified when we release new videos. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Until next time.